part two on Super Bowl appreciation. We got the Gatorades up there. You got to appreciate that custom of dousing the winning coach with a Gatorade. I put up again. I have the cap is to the Super Bowl party atmosphere, and the I'm trying to get that you can see the book. That a picture we have a picture of Vince Lombardi lurking above us there with the also with the Super Bowl tie with the football tie, but Vince Lombardi, the epitome of victory and winning isn't everything; it's the only thing. And I've been talking about how great the Super Bowl is, no matter whether it's a blowout or not. We covered some of the blowouts. The most of the first part was just on the blowouts, and even those show greatness. Seattle showed greatness in stopping Peyton Manning and his historical offense. Joe Montana showed greatness 55-10 in his fourth and last winning Super Bowl. Um, the Washington and Dallas were able to expose Buffalo weaknesses in their blowouts over Buffalo in Super Bowls 26 and 27. But then we were in the middle of discussing Tom Brady. When the New England wins, they don't blow out people. They win three Super Bowls by 3 points, and then they won last year Super Bowl 49 by 4 points. Uh, and I thought they were a dynasty of intangibles. One of the intangibles was going for it, being aggressive on fourth down. So often you have coaches punting from the 38-yard line. The other team's 38. They don't want to kick a 55-yard, so let's punt. And a lot of times it goes into the end zone. You get a net gain of 18 to 20 yards. Oh, that's great. And even if it goes to the 10, net gain of 30. Go for it, be aggressive. And that I think that was part of what developed Tom Brady. I'm not sure if Tom Brady would have developed into this unbelievable Hall of Fame quarterback without being let the ability to make fourth downs, be aggressive on the calls. And in Super Bowl 36, we saw it right away early in his career. 17 all. Kurt Warner brought back the Rams and tied it. And with a minute left, even John Madden said, "Oh, they got to play for overtime here. A minute and a half. It was about a minute and a half. Got to play for overtime." It's a young quarterback, very nerve-wracking. At that point, pressured him. It might turn it over. What they did was they didn't just come out and irresponsibly throw the ball down the field. Threw some short ones and left themselves enough time that if they can complete a 15, 20-yard, it'll be in field goal range. And that's exactly what happened. Over the middle, fires it to Troy Brown. At that point, they were in the edge of field goal range. They got one more throw to Wiggins for about 7, 8 yards. Comes Brady rushes the line, spikes the ball, and Adam Vinatieri splits the uprights. As Pat Summerall said, "There is no time on the clock," or something like that. And Bill Belichick had won his first Super Bowl with a team they didn't have a great defense. He's known for great defense, Belichick. Yeah, he took a bunch of guys and made them into a good to solid defense. They were not great. They didn't have enough talent to be great. But Belichick can take any defense and make it solid. And if you look at, again, I don't go by stats, but certainly the stats over there, if you're rated 29th, I think they were rated down on the bottom in yardage. So you're not going to call it a great defense if you give up that many yards. They were very good at not giving up many points. And they would hold people in the red zone, holding them to field goals. So they didn't give up too many touchdowns. But look at the names of the guys on the team. You say, well, they had the Brewski, McGinnis, and Seaman. There's also mixing Anthony Pleasant. Remember that Roman Pfeiffer was a key guy there. Otis Smith, cornerback. It wasn't a great defense. It wasn't a great talent on the defense, but they played great that day in slowing down Kurt Warner, and Tom Brady just did just enough. Again, he wasn't asked to do much, He only threw for 170 yards, of which a lot of it was on that last drive. And they win Super Bowl 36. Super Bowl 38. And I love that Super Bowl. 32-29 over Carolina. Now you got to remember, by that time, the defense had gotten much better. And I didn't expect Carolina to score much at all. This is Jake Delhomme coming in to play a New England solid defense ran by Bill Belichick, a Hall of Fame defensive coach. So I didn't expect Jake Delhomme is going to get anything done there. And how much would now Carolina had a very good defense of their own? How much would Brady score? I don't know, but it'd certainly be enough to win. And it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. All of a sudden, there was an explosion of points. And at the end of the half, it's 14-13. 14-13. As a matter of fact, a bad mistake by New England defense in the last seconds to allow a big run by Carolina to get them into field goal range to make it 14-13. Now, third quarter comes, no scoring again. So it goes from 0 in the first quarter, high scoring amount in the second quarter, and 0 in the third quarter. So you think again, oh, so defense has got their grip back in the game. What an explosion in the fourth quarter. And let's see, it went from 14-13 to, let's see if we can follow all this. New England takes the lead 21-13. They take wow, they had a more than, I can't remember the ball. It was going back and forth, back and forth. But here was the surprising part. Jake Delhomme in that game dropped back 3 times and threw completions of more than 30 yards. One for 85 yards, which is still a record today. 85 yards to Muhsin Muhammad. I didn't expect, and I mean, think what had to happen for him to do that. He has to drop back the pass and have time. And New England had a very good pass rush, and again, Belichick know how to blitz correctly. He's got to have time. He's then got to throw the ball accurately, which I don't know if Jake Delhomme's going to be able to do deep. And it's got to be caught because they beat Ty Law and they beat the very good secondary of New England. I didn't think that was happening. That wouldn't happen. I didn't think that would happen once. It happened 3 times where he threw touchdown passes of more than 30 yards. In fact, I think Jake Delhomme, in my mind, is one of the greatest Super Bowl performances by a quarterback. And that was in a losing cause. Okay, I'm getting reminded what happened here. It's coming back, the numbers here. 21, 21, 13, 21, 20. Basically, at some point, Carolina scored and went for 2, which was the right move because you're not expecting, had it right 2 to pull within 3. They went for 2 to pull within 3. What are they expecting to score touchdowns? Remember, they had not scored anything in the third quarter. You don't think Carolina is going to be scoring touchdowns. They say, we've got to pull within 3 so that we can tie it with a field goal. So they're down 5. New England down 5. They're down 5. They then took the lead with a touchdown, went for 2 to go up 3, but missed it. New England then scored, and now when you score, if you're down 1 and you score, you're up 6. They went for 2 and got it. So now it's a 7. And then Carolina ties it at the end to almost send it to overtime. Once again, we have Tom Brady with about 2 minutes left, and once again, Tom Brady slowly brings him down and then hits the 15-yarder. And sure enough, Adam Vinatieri once again with the field goal. So again, New England finding ways to win. It's another one of their intangibles. They'll find a way to win, whether it be a defensive play, an offensive play. I don't think that's overrated. It sounds like cliche, but that's it. They find ways to win. New England, well coached, disciplined team, a team of unity. They introduced Super Bowl 36. They didn't want to be individually. They came out as a team. I don't think that's a small. I don't think that's a no factor. I don't know if it's that big, but it's certainly a factor. Um, and now we go on to Super Bowl. They win that one 32-29. And now we go to, they play Philadelphia. And this is the game where Terrell Owens was who is he going to play? He's not going to play. There's no way he can play on a broken leg that short of time. And he had a fantastic game. Helped Philadelphia to keep staying in the game. Brady was not at his best there. And he had a couple of turnovers. Couple of turnovers. At least one. He had one. He fumbled himself. Yeah, he threw a pick. He threw a pick. As a matter of fact, he threw two picks in a row. One of them got called back where he got a break on a penalty. No, I'm mixing up. Scratch that. He had a Brady fumble. Donovan McNabb threw a couple of picks in a row, but then one of them was a penalty. Then it happened on the next play, threw it anyway. So there's a little back and forth action going there. Philadelphia stayed in the game. It was 14 all, right? It was 14 all at one point. McNabb was okay in this game. It was not bad. As a matter of fact, he completed balls I didn't think he would be able to complete against a great New England defense. As a matter of fact, that was New England's best defense of all of them, I believe. They were 14-2 that year, and then New England pulls out to a 10-point lead. We know about the right. They scored. Then we know about the Donovan McNabb going too slow in the huddle, and that apparently he was sick because we know apparently he threw up right outside the huddle, and he was using a lot of time in a drive that finally resulted in a touchdown. But it was 24-21. That was the final. New England almost ran out the clock, had a punt. They actually, Donovan McNabb got the ball back on his own two and had to go, I guess, about 60 yards to get the field goal range to tie it. Interception by Rodney Harrison. I think it's Rodney Harrison. And that ended that. And three Super Bowls won by 3 points by the great Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And now I want to go, my final ones, the Giants of Super Bowl 25 and Super Bowl 21. We'll start with 21. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to leave 25 for its own production for itself. That's going to be part 3. In Super Bowl 21, you see Bill Belichick's ability. Bill Parcells, also one of my favorite coaches, with Bill Belichick as his defensive coordinator, going for it and showing aggressiveness. And that was shown in the third quarter of that game. Just to fast forward, I'll give you the beginning parts also, but it was 10-9 at the half. Denver was winning in a game where the Giants were heavy favorites. Sims was good from the start. Sims ended up being 22 of 25, 88%. Never any better percent than that in Super Bowl history. And he was great that day. But in the third quarter, down 10-9, the opening drive of the second half stalls, and they're 4th-1 at the around midfield. I think they're still on their own side of the field, 45, 46, and sends out the punt unit. But then Jeff Rutledge, if I got it right, wasn't it Jeff Rutledge? I think it's Jeff Rutledge. Was a talker. He was the one standing in between the punter and the center, which showed something was going on. And sure enough, he goes up to the line, and he's looking over at Bill. He says he was looking over at Bill to see if he got the go ahead. Bill says, "Yeah, he got to go ahead to take this, try the quarterback sneak based on what he saw." Sneak for a first down on 4th and half a yard. Then they went on to score. That led to, again, not I'm gonna say because they made that sneak, that's what led to all the points. But that did go. They did score at that point about 26 straight points. The next thing you know, it was 36-10, including McConkey even getting his touchdown after almost scoring. He flipped over, did a full somersault, landed on the one on a flea flicker play, a handoff back to Sims to McConkey, gets hit, flips over, and lands on the one. But then he did get it. Don't worry, McConkey did get his touchdown. 39-20, one of my favorite Super Bowls, because I loved Bill Parcells, and I love Bill Belichick and Phil Simms and the tough Giant defense, Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Carl Banks, Jim Burt, Leonard Marshall, and they beat John Elway, who, again, in the first half, had it close, but defense was going to catch up to the John Way at some point. That's a production, a 15-minute mark. Total production.